All right, to anybody listening, check the timestamp I put in the comments. That's when the episode actually starts. We're doing some prep right now. I don't even have it on the line yet, so it'll be boring to listen.
What she's saying about me, I might want to take a look.
Look, I'm trying to stay out of any of that kind of stuff.
There's people in the room now listening. Connecting with Dan right now. What up?
Hey, how's it going? I got turned off.
We're already streaming live.
Are you watching Fox News or something?
You heard that for a second?
Yeah.
I was checking out the clip of Riley. Then I was like, wait a second, everybody can listen to me.
That's funny.
Two things.
Hey, bud.
Yeah, what up is one. And two, I have a call I'm supposed to make at 2:30.
All right, let's do it. Let's get moving.
So I might have to cut things short, and then we might have to get back whenever we.
All right, let's try to. Let's do our best.
Necessarily been...
Okay. Well, I'll start recording. Hello. All right.
Hello.
Oh, what's up, Shakita? Up in the chat room. Hey, hey.
All right. All right, let's sync it up. Hey, Shakita. Sorry, I just saw that chat. And I didn't understand what he was. I forget. I'm not used to my co-hosts having the chat filled up too. I'm used to just having it up myself.
Well,
all right.
Here I am.
Let's sync this bad dad up.
Don't fuck around, Dylan.
No,
I'm
you're not.
looking in here too.
All right. 1,
2.
Okay. Let's redo that because I screwed that up.
All right.
1,
2.
Okay.
It's all good. Yeah. Can you hear anything in my background?
No, not really.
Okay, good. Well, Nicole is down there with Quinn. They're chatting quietly, but...
Yeah, it better be quiet. You know what I'm saying?
I know. It's important.
All right. Welcome to the Dead Inside Show. I'm Dylan Shuck, and I've read the Walking Dead graphic novels.
And I'm Dan Fields from Save It for the Show, and I have not read the Walking Dead graphic novels.
In this podcast, we'll be discussing the season premiere of the 8th season of AMC's original series, The Walking Dead.
In this show, we'll be analyzing the events from the most recent episode of The Walking Dead and comparing how they transpired in the graphic novel without any future spoilers.
And big shout out to our Patreon supporters. If you want to be a supporter of the show, you can go to patreon.com/thewatchandtalk. And big shout out to our premium supporters, Shakita, June, and Kaka. And right off the bat, we'll give a shout out to Diane and Ashley to get monthly shout outs too. Now, if you guys hear to us referring to somebody in the chat, it's because we are this season streaming our episodes live on YouTube. So if you want to get in on that, you can subscribe to The Watch and Talk on YouTube, and you'll get notifications when we go live, but also on our Twitter account at Dead Inside Show. We usually give a heads up before we go live. Usually recorded on midday Monday after
PST.
So Dan, I have a question for you.
What?
Are you wearing your shitting pants?
Every pair of pants I have are my shitting pants.
What is a pair of shitting pants?
They're brown. Just like girls have period underwear. I've got my pair of shitting pants.
Oh my God, we are starting off the season on a high note.
Same thing.
Hello, new listeners out there. Welcome to the show. But yeah, it's
The shitting pants. 8 seasons.
Is the shitting pants line the worst line in the show's history?
I'm so sick of Negan and his corny ass lines anyways that, yeah, I thought it was stupid. And I feel like, has he said it before, or was that in the trailer?
They put this in the fucking trailer. And it's the final line of the episode.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Gabriel's standing there with a machine gun. Why don't you just shoot his ass?
Why didn't they just shoot his ass is the theme of the episode. That should have been the episode title. Why didn't they just shoot his ass?
Let's not go there. I don't even want to talk about that.
We have a whole episode to go. But look, this is the 100th episode. It also had a bunch of homage, a lot of to the first episode, and a lot of scenes from the first episode that it showed, particularly when we see Carl walking by himself. There's a lot of recreation shots from when Rick had first left the hospital. There's also the shots of Rick in the bed that are recreation shots of him waking up from the bed in the hospital also.
Yeah.
And the shot of Negan and Father Gabriel being surrounded by walkers from the bird's eye view, which is the same shot of him being surrounded in the tank in the first episode.
Yeah.
But while I love to see it respect the first episode that way, it disrespects it with. Again, I'm not gonna stop talking about how bad the line of the shitting pants was. Shitting pants isn't even a thing. Like, it's not. And the way he delivers it is such a movie way. Like, there's no way you would slowly be able to use your cadence and deliver that when you're letting somebody know you're in there. I hope you're wearing your shitting pants. Huh? Your shitting pants. I hope you're wearing them right now.
Right, after almost just getting killed, too.
Are gonna shit your pants.
Right.
Like,
so stupid. Didn't he talk about shitting your pants, though, at the campfire?
Probably.
I kind of feel like he said something about shitting pants there. He clearly likes it.
Are even I was in a meeting.
I know. He's a cornball.
That was bad, but that was at least a meeting is at least something. Right? So
I can't wait for him to die. Can't wait.
It's funny that it's a meeting is a thing that you have. So it's kind of funny because he's saying he was in a meeting when he clearly wasn't in the meeting. But shitting pants, it's not even funny. Like, it's anyway.
Well, you know my theory, because Negan has no ass, he has no butt, so he's obsessed with butts and pooping, and that's why he talks about it all the time. He's projecting.
Shakita in the chat has already said, "What ass?"
See, exactly.
We're assuming you're talking about the fact that he's negative ass.
Big dick, though. Bigger dick than Rick.
Yeah, he made sure that we all knew that. But he wouldn't sentence people to die because of it.
No.
Anyway,
of course not. Yes.
I didn't like this episode. I didn't like. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where this conversation is going to go. It's not like I'm going to be. It's not that I hated it, but it definitely was the least interesting premiere we've had. I was dreading rewatching it. I was like, I wish I just took all my notes when I first watched it. I'll say this: what happened in the premiere? If you had to explain to somebody, I missed the premiere. Just tell me what happened. Like your wife missed it, and she just wants to watch the second episode with you. Honey, I missed the premiere. Could you explain what happened?
They shot a lot of windows, and that's about it.
I'll be her. What windows? What do you mean? What do you mean windows?
They spent 20 minutes after having no guns, shot tons of ammunition at the factory, and Gabriel got captured, and Tara ate a Twizzler. That was basically it.
We're being unfair, and I do have an there is things about shooting the windows, and there's reasons for it, and I'll actually talk about that when we get to our tweet of the week, because that was obviously a huge topic of conversation on the internet. But yeah.
Let me say something real fast. Like, you and I have been doing this now for 3 years, 4 years, or whatever.
This is our fourth year.
Fourth year, Jesus. And I feel like the show has changed, and not necessarily for the worse or for the better. But somebody that we follow on Twitter, I think his name's like Ryu or something, he posted a link to an article talking about the show, and that this is not Game of Thrones. This is not Stranger Things. This is much more like Supernatural, or one of these 8, 9, 10 season long Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
This is more Supernatural than Stranger Things and Game of Thrones.
Right, yes, like the show Supernatural that just goes on and on and on, and it's weird, and it's campy, and you don't even really understand.
This is more like the show that's called Supernatural.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry.
It sounded like you were saying that this is more supernatural than
Stranger Things.
Yeah, than Stranger Things or Game of Thrones. I was like, the dragons and everything. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I just mean more so that this is not like a dramatic piece of amazing storytelling. It's just a fun, stupid ass show that you just watch every year when it's fall. You enjoy it, and I think I'm trying to make peace with that, and I'm not expecting it to change my life like these other shows might do. It is what it is.
Yeah,
and that's fun.
So I feel like the show is in this state where, just like the graphic novel, where there's no end in sight, because it's just zombie apocalypse changed the world, and this is the world from now on, and it's going to continue telling that story.
Right.
The graphic novel got much less interesting for me, especially around the Negan arc, or toward the end of the Negan arc also. So, we're there on the show. I think we've already been made it clear on our preview episode. This was the least excited. I don't even know, I stopped watching Fear the Walking Dead. Are you still watching Fear the Walking Dead?
I didn't, and
apparently
I kind of want to.
Yeah, apparently it's gotten better. But still, I'm just not going to. I don't know if I feel like I would not have watched last night's episode by now of The Walking Dead if I wasn't doing a podcast on it. It might hit the back burner, and I might be like, I'll wait for 5 episodes to pile up and then watch them in a row. But sometimes when that happens, I stop watching a show. Homeland, I planned on doing that 3 seasons ago, and now I've let 3 seasons pile up. I'll get to it, but that might be happening with the show. It's just not gripping me at this point. And I'm curious where everybody else is. So as you're listening to this and as we're having a conversation about this, I want to know where you guys are, and maybe you guys can explain why, and maybe you can help me get back there with the show. Because a season ago, I was way more riveted with finding out who was going to get killed, which we complained about. We complained about that twist, but they ended up handling it really well by killing 2 people, because then we were like, oh, they didn't kill Glenn, they killed somebody else, all right. And then they ended up killing Glenn also, making us feel safe. So I'm curious if who's back there. Email us at deadinsideshow@gmail.com or tweet us at deadinsideshow. and let us know where you're at with it and why, or if you agree with us or whatever the case may be. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get into it.
It's all good. The thing, though, about this show, too, is so many people watch it, and social media as well. It would be very hard to let 5 or 6 of these build up, because if somebody dies, you'll see a hashtag on Twitter like "RIP Maggie."
Okay, well, let me ask you this: Do you think you could see somebody posting on Facebook about the show right now? Do you think you could stumble upon a friend being like, "I can't believe The Walking Dead" right now?
Facebook is a garbage pile right now, so no, you're right.
We did a couple seasons ago, and that's not just because Facebook's changed, because Facebook has, but you still see people posting about Game of Thrones all the time because it's the most culturally relevant show right now. And The Walking Dead was pretty culturally relevant for a long time, and I'm really struggling saying that term for some reason. But right now, I could not imagine somebody being like, "I can't believe last night's Walking Dead," and then there's like a bunch of people responding and commenting on it in the chat field, and Facebook right now. But maybe it is.
Right. Sure. Right.
And yeah, in the chat, someone asked where they got all the bullets, and yeah, they do have a. Didn't they start manufacturing bullets?
I don't remember, or did that get taken away when Eugene left?
Yeah, I think Eugene at least had it starting and running, and then I'm sure other people knew how to do it. Maybe, I don't know, and I could be. Maybe that's the first time I dropped a graphic novel spoiler on the show ever. I'm just conflating that, but no, I think that they started the manufacturing on the show. I'm pretty sure. But
I think you're right. Maybe.
So yeah, starts off with a back and forth of Rick from the future and present. I think it's 3 different time periods we're seeing him in. We're seeing him doing, preparing for the war, looking over the graves and giving the speech. And then we're seeing him in the future with his terrible hairstyle.
Terrible hairstyle.
It worked way better in the graphic novel, and they transferred it over the best they could, but man, it does not look good. It's like that hairdo is a hair don't. You understand what I'm saying?
Burn.
But then we see this other one that seems to be somewhere in between, and that's where we see him in that later scene saying mercy.
Right.
Where he has the same eyes that he had when Glenn was
the campfire.
Yeah,
right.
When Glenn was being killed, or when his son was about to be raped, and he beat the dude's throat out. He had those psycho eyes on. So it seems to me like it's 3 different time periods.
I would agree with that.
But it doesn't hit you over the head with that middle one, or wherever that one may be.
Well, it's probably a low point in this stupid war with Negan. But the one thing, until we had seen Michonne, I didn't know if it was even real. Maybe it's not real.
It looked a little dreamy.
It a dream?
It had that sparkly look to it, like it was a dream.
Right, it had that haze over it. I got this friend of mine on Facebook, and every time she posts a picture, it's got Vaseline rubbed all over the lens, it looks like. And it's like, lady,
use the Snapchat filter for it.
Yeah, whatever. It's like, come on. You're fucking blurry as all hell. Give me a break. So yeah, but I don't know if it's real or not.
Shout out to that person.
I know, she doesn't listen. Michonne looks amazing. She doesn't look a day older at all.
They put a little gray in her hair, it looked like.
Barely.
A little bit, right. But then we see the daughter, and you're the daughter expert.
Yes.
That, looks like 3 years?
Tops. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, he has somehow aged, 30 years, but that's what happens when you're president. Right?
Right.
And I guess he's president now. But yeah, they see, you look at how much Obama aged in his first 4 years in office and how he looked, it's probably pretty similar. He all of a sudden had a lot of gray hairs. It's really weird to see him running for president for the first time, or his first year, and he had almost no gray. None.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's just Ozzie Davis.
Not to dwell on this, but Rick's skin looked very normal, though. They gave him all that gray hair, and it just looked silly because his face wasn't wrinkled. It wasn't age spotted or anything.
Well, just whatever. His hairstyle.
I guess so, yeah. And he was balding. It looked like a little bit too.
So, and then you see him looking over graves, and I don't know if that's they're not labeled, but it gives me the feeling it's Abraham and Glenn.
That's what I felt like.
Even though Sasha just died.
Well, no, hold on a second. Were they buried in the hilltop, though? Or were they buried at the other place? Like, I feel like, was Abraham buried at the hilltop, or Glenn? With Maggie? I don't remember.
Don't put me in a spot to
Who cares?
Listeners know
Who cares?
Know about the show.
I know. Move on.
Okay, so the arrow note passing between Dwight and Daryl I thought was pretty cute.
Adorable.
I think they're just cute together. And I hope that they end up together. Did he shoot his arrow through Dwight's bike tire?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird.
Dick move.
Yeah, a little fucked up. Maybe he did it to keep him there. Like,
then,
make sure he didn't change his mind or something.
And the note says tomorrow. And then when he shoots back, there's like this Two-Face looking wall. Meaning that he looks literally like Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face with like the spoiler alert for The Dark Knight, but him having the teeth completely visible. I thought it looked pretty.
Yeah, no,
there were some pretty good Walker effects in this episode.
Well, yeah, because this is one of the episodes where I guess they had the herd, but there wasn't a lot of Walker killing.
Right.
So this was a good way for them to make sure they got that gore in there. Use that special effects budget.
Rick's speech, and then Maggie and Ezekiel too, just was so uncompelling to me. It couldn't have been less compelling. Especially the final line, "We've already won!" That was in the fucking trailer also.
I know. I don't want to be a dick here, but like you said, I think both of us, I was excited to do the podcast with you. I wasn't like...
We are the Daryl and...
Carol?
No, we are the Daryl and Dwight of this podcast. We're being really cute right now.
I enjoy spending time with you, but the show, and then the first 5 minutes to get to like, here's Rick on a car giving a speech already, like rah rah sis boom bah
also,
pep
they're
rally.
Doing like it's a political rally, like it's Hillary Clinton and then Bernie Sanders and then the governor of whatever state, that they're all three lining up together and giving it, and it just had the uncompellingness of that as well. Like those political rallies that I see on TV are really not moving to me usually.
Sure.
And this was the exact same thing. Like it just seemed like they're going through the motions, not that they're actually trying to rally people up for war.
Yeah.
I must
we've
say,
heard it so many times though. It's just
Shiva looked
so
really good back in the trunk. Shiva looked really
good.
like a real tiger.
We're very critical of the tiger special effects, and I agree that she looks pretty darn good.
He's like, but Rick's like, those. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he's like, those that kill and take, we end them. And he's like, we don't, glee in it, but we don't take shame in either. They basically want to police the world. And then he says that he'll kill Negan. I promise you, I'll kill him myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks like Tara and Carol, Twizzler Tara, as they call her. And do you think this Twizzlers are expired by now?
I think it's probably a promotional ploy that Twizzlers paid to get in there.
Probably, but how long do Twizzlers last? If you're using Twizzlers experts and the listeners, let us know how long they last, because it's been
forever.
2-3 years since the apocalypse started. I don't know if I'd want to eat 2-3-year-old Twizzlers, but maybe it's okay. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Why not?
But they're like timing walkers to see how long they take to get in between 2 points, and they get it down to a science.
Yeah.
Do you notice in the flash forward they didn't have the guts to show Carl?
Oh no, did they not?
They had him like walk by and like talk in like his deeper voice, but they didn't show him. So I'm assuming that this means this is a flash forward to next season, and they're hoping that Chandler Riggs is going to age one more year.
Okay. Yeah.
What I really hope they're doing right now too is they're really younging him up, making him look a lot younger than he is on the show. So when we do see him in the flash forward, he looks more adult, because a couple years are passing, right? So we have to accept that. But then again, it's only been 2 or 3 years since the apocalypse, and he's now a 17-year-old kid, and he was a 10-year-old kid when the show started. He's been aging way quicker than. Anyway, he has the Jack thing going on from the movie. Shout out to the Francis Ford Coppola directed film Jack, starring Robin Williams, Diane Lane, Jennifer Lopez. We'll talk more about that later.
Okay, yes. Save it for the watch and talk.
Anyway, so Carl finds the this dude lost, and he's like talking to himself. Seems like he was praying, and he said something about the Quran.
Yeah.
Looks like Rick has instated the Muslim ban in here, so he has decided to kick this guy out because of that. So that must have been what's going on. Was he praying though?
I think he was. Because who was he talking to? Maybe he was on his knees, but he seemed like he was talking to somebody. He had a microwave thrown at him, he said, which is pretty funny. He seems insane. Yeah, right. He seems insane, that's for sure. But at this point, to have survived this long, he must have some sort of grit about him. Right. Or something, survivability, and maybe he's just cracked.
Or he was with a group, and now he's been kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some people, I don't know. Anyway, then to instill his offensive Muslim ban, Rick shoots above his head to scare him off and said, could have been one of them. And if he isn't one of them, I hope he makes it. And Carl said, it's not going to be enough, Dad. And he's like, what? Hope.
Yeah.
Which is such a movie or TV.
Yeah, barf. Rick would have killed him. I think, like, Rick is serious right now.
I think... so they're showing that list that they're crossing people off it. I think they're purposely going around and identifying people. And
although they were killing those people so they could get there without them shooting off flares.
Right. But I think they have everybody identified. They've been scouting out and identifying everybody. So I think that they haven't had him. Because remember when he goes and confronts them, he gets everybody's names too. Make sure he has everybody's names. And he gets Regina's name down, a new person.
Yeah.
So I think that it's purposely showing that he's only killing those who he's identified. Like he's identified a person and is sure that they're an enemy before he kills them.
That's true, and he did say only one person needs to die, Negan.
Right. Even though he is viciously going out and killing people, not just pulling his gun and saying, "Drop it, drop it, drop it," and which he could have done to the guy that he stabbed in the stomach and let a walker eat, or let be eaten by a walker.
He cut him to the core. He said he's going to kill his boy.
Pulled his gun. Yeah, he just could have pulled the gun on him and said, "Drop it, I got you." Like he had the one up on him, had the guy drop his gun, and then talk to him and see if the guy is interested in surviving and not dying.
Right.
That would have fit what seems to be his whole thing, not just creeping up behind him and stabbing him in the stomach, but whatever.
Rude.
So yeah, we do get to see this list of him crossing names off, and I it's weird how they identify some people, but they do it their ways, and I didn't really individually break down each one and all that or anything. So Daryl kills a guy and grabs his flare gun, and he has tally marks on it. Have we seen this flare gun before? This looks familiar.
We've certainly seen the tally marks, which I assumed meant kills, but you wouldn't put that on a flare gun. Unless maybe you were insane and shoot people with flares.
I think that this flare gun that we saw, I think it might have been from the trailer and we discussed it. That's what I'm assuming. If anybody, I don't know. If anybody has more information on them. Judith basically looks like an adult now.
Yeah, she sure does.
In what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Right, yeah. Seriously.
I don't know why they don't just have time pass. I don't know why they don't have have it have been 8 years by now.
Well, it's been at least, how long does it take to jerry-rig all this sheet metal to their cars? Because I felt like after that last time when Negan left, he would have came right back. Like, why give them a week or two or a month? Yeah, just like come back, knock them out. You've got the people, you've got the guns, do it. And instead, he let them come up with a plan. And I mean, listen, I'm sure there'll be ebbs and flows here. There'll probably be a couple episodes where they're getting their ass kicked again, and they'll come back, and Rick will make a speech, and like I get it, but yeah, but you're right. Judith is much older. I mean, she looks now like she's at least 3 or 4.
I going back to that guy that he stabs in the stomach, and then the guy's like, "I saw you beg. You're gonna beg again. Your boy's gonna die." and he cuts the walker free and lets it eat him, and then walks away. I love how the walkers aren't the danger at. We talked about this many times, but they're not the danger at all anymore. They've weaponized the walkers.
Right. Sure.
Like, he at this point lets this walker go, and lets the guy become a walker also. No interest in killing them. Although in one scene, Daryl shoots a walker with a flare gun, but it looks like he was shooting the barrel next to him with the flare gun to attract the walkers to continue.
Was that the flares don't explode like that? Like he was shooting
in movies, they do.
And I've never seen a flare gun that has like a 6-chamber revolver flare gun.
Yeah, it didn't look like it. Those were way too big though to be normal bullets.
Right? Is there like a gun expert out here who can send us an email?
No.
No.
So they have crazy armor on their cars, and then while they're like getting ready to go to the sanctuary, we see like this tracking shot of them going around and showing a bunch of people talking, which is usually pretty impressive when they do that. It starts off though with like almost as bad of a line as the shit in your pants line, with it just zooming in on one of the girls from the kingdom talking to another guy, and he says something, and she's like, "I got your back," and he's like, "Really? You just met me?" And she goes, "We all just met each other."
Right. That whole scene was kind of like weird.
Fuck? Like what? Like you just met me. Like that's what you'd say to somebody you're about to go to what? You gonna have my back? You just met me, bro. And she's like, "We all just met each other," which also doesn't make sense. It's not true.
Right, they've been
a lot of these
preparing
people,
for weeks.
Right, like, but I guess it's saying that the Hilltop and Kingdom are just meeting right now. But
Maybe that's true.
They chose a better dialogue exchange to show that rather than "I got your back." Really, you just met me. We all just met each other. Anyway, then Maggie and Rick discuss whether she's going to go on maternity leave before Apocalyptic War.
Yeah. Is she going to show any baby bump at all? Like,
right.
Can we do something for that?
Like Judith has doubled in age in the time, and she has not even made a bump yet in a season span.
Yeah,
longer than a season. Anyway,
but at this point, into we got Paul here in the chat. I agree with him. Like the first 20 minutes, I was kind of like, you know what, cool. We're prepping. We've got some montage. Like I was still kind of like, maybe this will be when the show turns it around. Or remember a few seasons back when they were at what was the place where they were eating people? What was that place called?
Terminus.
Terminus. Like there was all this Terminus buildup, and then in the first episode, Carol killed everyone. They left Terminus, and part of my mind almost hoped that holy shit, maybe Negan will die this first episode, and we'll move on, and the show will change. And it didn't, but hopefully we don't have a whole half season of still fighting Negan.
Yeah, especially because so normally I would be like, so things moved along way too quickly in this episode. Normally I would be like, I hate that, or like I want things to move on quickly, but they moved on quickly, like almost skipping steps, it seems.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that was like weird to me, is it again, it's seeming like they're skipping steps, but I don't know. That's neither here nor there. Then when Rick and Maggie also talk, he's like, the Hilltop's lucky to have you, and she's like, you showed me how to be someone worthy of following. And he's like, after this, I'm following you.
Right. Very
adorable exchange they had right there. Fine. Tara's count for the walkers was a little off, but it also showed that they're like making a science out of it. They've clocked the speed of the walkers so much,
which is hilarious and kind of fake. And also, that Twizzler would be nasty.
I don't think it's fake. It just shows how scientific they're making it, and how,
I guess.
Anyway, then they show up a couple seconds after she thought, and she's like, "Oh, close enough," and they took off, and then they blew up a car.
Yeah, with like the longest pause I've ever seen in a TV show. Like, of course, something was going to happen, but it was unnecessary.
Terrible TV CGI explosion. Bad.
Yeah, it was
like 90s TV CGI bad.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta talk about this. Okay, guys Go out there and blow up a fucking SUV. Have a small pyro crew, spend a day fucking shooting it. The show just feels so rushed and lazy right now. And so as soon as this episode's over, we see Chris Hardwick live on the red carpet, 2 hours Walking Dead, and the whole cast is there, and you don't want to miss it. And all this promotion of on social media, hashtag Team Negan, hashtag Team Rick going on. By the way, what the fuck? Who is hashtag Team Negan?
What is a Team Negan?
Hell yeah! Bash Glenn's brains in. Like, there's not moral ambiguity here. There's not like this.
No.
Like, there's like, some of us, like, you can have that even with Game of Thrones, where you're rooting for the bad guys. That's real moral ambiguity. Nobody's rooting for Negan. None of you guys out there. You guys might joke around that you are, but you're not really rooting for Negan. Nobody is. Especially not after bashing Abraham and Glenn's heads in the way they did. There's no way.
No.
That's like Team Walder Frey.
Right.
On Game of Thrones. Doesn't exist. No. But I can understand how somebody's Team Cersei or, Team... There's a lot of warring factions that you could, be between the two. But anyway, they're going through all of this crap, but you can't even take the time to blow up a fucking car for us? Just blow up a car for this. I used to watch 24. They blow up cars all the time on that. Just go out there and blow up a damn car.
I'll tell you why.
It's
they
because
spent too much money on the Tiger. Tiger blew their budget on this episode, I guess.
The thing is also, it's time, right? It takes time to set up there. For one little explosion scene, it takes a long time. That takes a day, 2, 3 weeks worth of prep, and then a day or two worth of shooting. And you have to have a lot of people around there, and there's a lot of liability issues and stuff like that. But it shows care and effort.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And to me, now later there were explosions, but they decided those explosions they wanted to do, but not this one. That one just looked so unacceptably bad that it was just silly. The second something happens, I should be thinking, oh, okay, they set it off, they blew up this car. What are they doing? They're attracting the walkers to it. Okay, I'm in the story. Instead, what am I thinking? Oh my God, that looked awful. Why did they do that? Like, all I'm thinking is the mistakes that they made on the show when I should be invested into the story.
Right. And it just wasn't that necessary either. Like, do an explosion, make it kick ass, or they could have just banged some goddamn garbage can lids to move.
It's not like you're exploding a yacht, like on the water or a hole. Yeah. You're not demolishing a building. Look, if you're demolishing a building and you need to use CGI, sure, I understand, because you don't want to go up and blow up a fucking building. But
spend like $3,000 on a used Ford Explorer.
SUV, you couldn't just blow up right there. And look, and the safety would have been easy. There was nobody around it. There wasn't anybody close to it. So it's not like you even have to worry about stunt people. You just go out there, send a crew. Anyway, I've said my point.
I hear
you. As the promotional stuff around the show gets bigger, I feel like the effort within the show is getting smaller.
Maybe, yeah. Now they have to try harder, too, to get people to stick around. Because is the show ratings down? Are less people watching, or is it the same? Yeah.
I don't have ratings in front of me, but it has to be.
Probably.
I know that it plummeted last season after the beginning, which was, I think, the highest ratings show's ever been. It continued to plummet as it went on.
Mm-hmm.
So at Negan's, oh my God. At Negan's compound, we hear one of the garbage people on the walkie saying they want the bang bang and the blood.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And then Dwight's like, maybe you'll get lucky. And we're wondering why Dwight has chose the other side instead of the bang bang. We want the blood, bang bang. Quick, kill.
Right. Like they're bad. I guess they're getting what's coming to them.
And we hated that last season. We hated that this season. Anyway, so Rick and his group roll up in their armored cars and they get into position, and then they do this interesting shooting in sync thing.
Yeah, get their attention.
Mm-hmm. And he was in a meeting, but now he's out, and he makes sure everyone knows his dick is bigger. Does the sanctuary look smaller than it did before to you?
Especially the front. Yeah, where before I felt like it was 50 yards of zombies. Yeah.
Was this the sanctuary?
It must have been.
It didn't look like it. Sanctuary before looked like a massive factory, and this looked like a little outpost, or a little, like they stopped by a school, a middle school.
Right, it definitely didn't seem like before.
So I don't think that this is the actual sanctuary, and I guess I thought it was a sanctuary the whole time, and now I'm thinking about it, man, they really made it look small, and they never did that before, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was not the sanctuary, but I don't know why they didn't talk about this, make this
Mm-hmm.
clear to us. Also, Rick's strategy of what he's doing there. Also, they should have made it clear to us. And again, we'll talk about that when we get to the tweet.
You know, we could totally dovetail here. In the chat right now, Shakita and Paul are talking about how women think Negan is hot and how, you know, they fantasize about him and his...
That might be what the hashtag Team Negan is.
I kind of think it is, which is really weird. I kind of talked about this on my podcast too, where like with Harvey Weinstein and stuff like that, we live in this weird world where everyone agrees he's a garbage person, but then you watch a show like this where this guy is seen as sexy for being terrible to women.
Right.
And even The Deuce. I know you watched The Deuce. The entirety of The Deuce.
The pimp of The Deuce.
Exactly. So, anyhow, yeah, we could talk 20 minutes about that, but yeah. Sorry. Go on.
No, but also the main part of the conversation in the chat field right now is about Negan having no ass.
He really does it.
Yeah, they had to remove his ass because it's part of the script.
It's true. He's a method actor.
Right. Anyway, so he wants to.
Does he have an ass in the comic book?
He did not have an ass in the comic book, which is why they had to shave that bad boy down. He wants to make sure everybody knows his dick is bigger, and he's not going to let his people die over it like you're about to. And then Rick identifies everybody: Dwight, Gavin, Simon, Regina. I know who you are to Eugene. Eugene, you're like, what the fuck is going on with Eugene? Anyway.
Which real quick, by the way, like everything Negan does is so abusive. Like, I bet you there's people who have been in abusive relationships with guys like Negan, and they probably get PTSD listening to the things he says, the way he says it, the way he blames everybody, he does no wrong. The guy does do a good job acting as him, but yeah, it's hard to watch when he's not corny.
There's no surviving for him, right?
What do you mean?
There's not going to be any lay down your arms and survive. He's like, you're going to get killed.
Right. Yes.
And then he's like, you have no idea the shit that's about to go down. And then the Gregory thing came out. Really? Like, was that really his plan?
Yeah, or he was bluffing. You know, I kind of thought he was going to say, well, who's back watching the candy store, Rick? While you're out here. And then we were going to see, you know, somebody crash into Carl or something like that.
Yeah, it's I just can't imagine this actually being a plan. And they thought the Gregory thing would work, and that Gregory said you have to lay your arms down, otherwise, you know, you're kicked out of the hilltop. And then Jesus responds, "Hilltop stands with Maggie."
Right.
And Simon just tosses Gregory down the steps, and that's it. This all felt so rushed.
Yeah, like I wanted to see a shot of Gregory like falling on the ground or
right.
with
It
his
didn't
head
even show
bled.
what happened to him. It just showed him falling off the camera.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Anyway, Morgan stops one of the walkers from setting the tripwire, and then right afterwards, some cars hit it and explodes, which also seems very rushed. To have those scenes like right after each other.
It made no sense that Morgan had, I guess it was a little bit of anxiety for us at home. It's not like he had to then jump into the car and finish off some other people. I guess every single car, every person died. That's convenient.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it again seemed rushed. Just this explosion of a couple cars and what happened because of that? We don't even get the aftermath. They just look at each other and they're like, that happened. The thing that we wanted to happen happened, and that's it.
Right.
And then he says, your lieutenants have to make up their minds. You're going to make me count. 10, 9, 8, 7, which is weird also. And then we get a commercial right after.
Right.
Carol and Daryl have a nice little hug when they separate. You guys all saw Tobin in that gunfight, right? Man, I wish that Tobin wasn't relegated to this background role that he is now.
I mean, he had a relationship with Carol, and I don't know how deep it was, but now that she's back in the fold, I hope he gets back in with her, the fold.
Yeah, I don't think you hope as much as I hope, though.
I know. You want that real bad, buddy.
Because that became that thing that people like ended every email with Tobin F's. That was a big thing, and you know we want to see some more effing from the Tubes.
Of course, who doesn't?
Anyway, so yeah, so there's just so much shooting and explosions and gunfighting and shooting windows and luring zombies and hordes in this episode that goes on after the scene that it just becomes like, ugh, all right. This is all action. And a lot of people like that. I can't... There's nothing that was happening that we've never seen before in the show. And we were saying how boring this looked from the trailer, and it was boring in actuality. But it looks like most of the scenes from the trailer were just from this first episode.
But the thing is, they went there to kill them. So why wouldn't they have had...
they went there to kill them?
Why would they not? Later on, Rick was trying to shoot him behind that piece of metal. Right. Like, why not have snipers? Why not say 10 and start shooting? Like, why say anything? The second they walked out, they could have just laid into him. But again, it's fine.
Did he dodge bullets like Neo from the Matrix?
Exactly, yeah. They all did. Everybody got away scot-free.
Did they get away? Because all we knew is he shot at them, and then we went to a commercial, and then where is everybody? We don't know. We weren't shown. We were just shown zombies swarming everything, and then in a dark room, someone's like, you got shitty pants. And then somebody throws a grenade, and we're not even sure who that is, and Gregory stumbles out. We don't even know. This was so poorly thrown together and edited that we don't know what happened. Like, we don't understand how a story wasn't told to us. There was no story into it. There was just scenes happening, but we don't have an idea of what happened. And sure, in the chaos of war, sometimes people will purposely do that. But that's what they were doing here, right? Like, if it was showing the chaos of war, it would have shown Rick seeing what was happening. Rick turned and shot at them, and it didn't show us that. So it wasn't trying to show Rick's perspective. It got hectic. It was just not put together.
Right, and who was shooting back at them? They never showed anybody from their side shooting at them once. Yeah. See, the problem is, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you could do a show like this. And I don't know if you know this, but people do podcasts about TV shows now. Yeah, where people dissect it, they talk about it. And it's almost like you can't do a show that's this popular with this many podcasts about it and not expect every frame to be talked about, written about. So just edit the show a little better. Give us, like, when they watched this cut, they must have been like, oh boy, like there's some holes here. They know. They're not that stupid, the people that make this show. It's flagrant, I think, at some points where they just give us a freaking break here.
Anyway, so through all this hecticness, Rick hones in on killing Negan, but is pulled away by Gabriel. It's not about you, which we don't even understand exactly. Like, why couldn't he kill him?
Not about you. Yes, it is. He was willing to sacrifice himself to kill Negan. Right. I mean, that's completely selfless. Yeah, you're right. It's not about me. I'm going to die right now trying to kill Negan. It's the opposite of what you're saying.
But I guess the point was we have to get out of here because the Horde is going to be coming. The Horde is coming. I guess. I mean, I guess their plan. This is why I think their plan wasn't to kill him.
Just to overrun him and make him run.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get to the.
All right, fine.
All right. Gabriel finds Gregory, who jumps. He's like, oh, I have to save. Then he saves him. He's like, thanks a lot. And he's like, don't thank me, thank God. And he's like, whatever.
Right.
All right. And then he goes and steals Gabriel's car. Why did Gabriel tell him, no, wait? He went and got into the car, no problem, and drove off easily. Why was he telling him to wait? Why didn't they just go get into the fucking car? Why did he want to wait for the walkers to surround them?
And these gunshots coming out of nowhere. Like, I thought Gregor was going to get capped by somebody.
But no, he easily got in there and drove away easily. And it seemingly at the last second. Why was Gabriel telling him to wait?
Why did Gabriel do this? I know he's a man of the cloth.
So if you're going to say, hey, get in, hop in.
Right.
Or,
hurry.
I got you. Come on, get in the car, let's go. I'll save you, no problem. Bad strategy on Gabriel's part to wait. Let the walkers surround us more. Hold on. They're not surrounding us enough before we try to escape. Anyway.
Well, and let me ask you a question. At this point, short of, to me, I think Maggie killing Gregory with her own bare hands, like I just can't see a justified death for Gregory, which will, of course, happen at some point. But he needs to be redeemed in our eyes and get what he deserves, which will be death. Yeah. the guy deserves
It's
to
just
die
obviously
10
setting
times
us up
over.
to like, oh, we got to cheer when this guy dies, but we do. It's like I don't even know if we care.
I know. And when he dies, it's gonna be like, all right, cool, you're finally dead, great.
Anyway, Carl brings back food to the stranger, and who is still there, watching in the bushes, which I don't really get by either. And and then
he hung out. He hung out for like a day.
Yeah.
There was no food there, and he just chilled.
He just chilled there, but Carl knew that.
Right.
Gabriel barely gets away, and the place is swarmed with walkers. And then he gets into the dark room, and I hope you got your shitting pants on. What? Your shitting pants? I hope you're wearing them right now, because you are about to shit your pants.
And let's just talk logistics here. Negan comes out of a door, which is, conceivably the entrance to the factory where everybody is in the sanctuary. You start shooting at him, you dive back for the door, right? You don't like run down, get near Gabriel. And that was like a portable or like a weird trailer that he then somehow got in. And he didn't lock the door? Like he let it open? And then Gabriel gets in there.
Maybe he didn't have a lock.
Maybe, but yeah. And then he gets in there and doesn't just start mowing him down with his machine gun, for Christ's sake.
Right. Whatever.
Right.
And then we see this.
I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to just complain about the show, because I hope people at home are not angry about that at us for being poo-pooing this, but it's just hard not to. If you and I were just sitting here at a bar talking about the show, this is what it would be. I can't help it.
I think we showed a long time ago. We can't just put on a happy face, and we'll give the show credit when we can. But there's a lot of silly things on. Anyway, and into the flash forward, we see future Rick up walking around, and he's still with Michonne, and Judith is even older, and they're talking about people are taking this festival extremely seriously.
Yeah, an owl.
Yeah, a huge owl. Show me, and then they have Mercy prevail situation when it shows him apparently distraught over something that we don't know what's happening. Seems to be a different flash forward again, like I said, and then he finishes the speech. We've already won! And then ends the episode with 2 lines, the shit in pants, and then we've already won, which were in the trailer. If it's going to be a powerful thing you want to end the episode on, I just don't understand why you showed it in the trailer. It just really felt unsatisfying completely. And in general,
it'd be funny. What if Rick was having diarrhea or just really sick?
That's what the flash forward is. That's the surprise twist.
That's all. He's just shitting his pants, just like he said. He's got his shitting pants on, and he's honking a big one out in a field somewhere.
Are you ready to switch over to the segments?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I gotta cut things off.
Oh shit! Wow, it's gone fast.
I gotta. I have a phone call that's supposed to take like a half hour.
Do you want to try to pick it back up at 3?
Yeah, maybe. Let's do 3. Can we do 3:15?
Yeah, I'll just press pause, and then I won't make a new file.
No, make a new file, because then
okay.
Because we have to resync it anyway. You guys online, we're gonna cut it off, and I think when we finish it, we'll probably just finish it without streaming it online. So you got the main gist of anything. If you guys want to tweet us anything, send us anything for us to discuss in the tweet of the week section. We already have a tweet of the week, but maybe we can discuss any conversation topics we haven't discussed that you guys wanted to discuss. Feel free to tweet us in the meantime. And other than that, we'll see you guys. Next week, around the same time-ish, probably, right, Dan?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, and then we'll get together at